And what Lightstream is an entirely cloud-native live video production studio and architecture. So it is essentially on one end a browser-based production studio where you can go in, drag and drop, go live. You don't need to understand everything that everyone in this room understands about how to make video on the internet to start creating content. But then we make that entire architecture available via an API so that advanced producers, other companies like LiveView can extend their platform with our cloud compositing services. I think that's the big difference between us and other things, is that we don't simply route video we receive, you're actually able to manipulate that in the cloud, and instead of bringing it back down to make any changes that you might need. So I can stop there for any questions, but I have some examples of how that gets used too.
Yeah, and I understand one of your examples is outside the sports world, right? You've done a lot with music production.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, in Chicago, we had a couple music venues approach us thinking we were a production company, not a software and technology company. But I thought the problem set was interesting, and so I offered to do it in my spare time. And so what we ended up doing was setting up live streaming for some of these venues where they would live stream the opening acts of an event that evening, and in an attempt to stream that to Facebook to see on their page for the venue, say, hey, this is what's happening tonight. Here's a little taster of what's going on. And then they would say, hey, the stream's going to cut off at 9 p.m. If you want to see the headliners, you should make your way into the venue. The first time we did that, we went in. The venue made all sorts of promises, and as soon as we went live, people couldn't process credit cards faster than 4 or 5 minutes. Turns out they had the entire POS system on the same network that we were live streaming on. So we literally brought down the house. So that was when I threw up my phone as our first cellular streaming experience. Was me throwing up a hotspot and blowing through my data plan. We had it was a full. I think it was a really simple setup, to be honest with you. Like what we do. Lightstream in general, we work with thousands of creators that are working on an individual basis. These are people streaming with a backpack. Everybody else up here does far more advanced and higher production levels. What we're trying to do is make it accessible for the individual creator that's doing this, for a number of different reasons. And so, in kind, my own setup was very simple for this. It was a very simple Canon camera with an XLR input off the soundboard. And I hooked that up through an Elgato Cam Link into a small laptop that I had there. And I think at that time I decided to run OBS because we thought we should just do it all local. So what we ended up doing, and where this advanced was, that first night I used my own phone as the hotspot, and that did not work out well for my bills. But the next time was when I was introduced to some friends over at LiveView, and we ended up building what we are today. So up and out of the venue it was really the main goal on premise. How do we get this camera feed and the sound at a high quality level out of this challenging environment and into the cloud? And then somebody, even me via my phone, but I had somebody back at home, one of my co-founders. I was able to log into our stuff, see my feed, add on all the alerts, overlays, and things that you would want to add. But he wasn't bringing my video feed down. He was sending those instructions into our cloud video engines where those were composited on and then switching scenes. One of the benefits of what we've built is that I would lose signal from time to time just because if any of you have ever been to Chicago, most of the venues are these really old buildings that even the cellular bonding has a hard time getting through. But when I would go down, we actually our cloud video engines actually keep the stream live, waiting for a reconnection from me. And so we were able to actually produce. But our number one goal is always, especially for individual creators. I think you guys, I don't know if you've met Das Valdez. Yeah, so Das uses our stuff from time to time. He does this thing called Space Kerbal Academy, where he does live streams of a lot of the rocket launches. And he's live on site, and he's it's almost an educational stream on Twitch, if that makes sense. And so he's doing tours all around the venue, and we were working with him on the USS Midway, and he wandered inside of the ship, and of course, as a big steel ship does, cut up all signal. But his stream was able to stay live, still communicate to his audience, didn't go away, the channel didn't go down, and as soon as he walked back out of the ship, there was Das again re-explaining it, and so that's, but yeah, as small streamers, our number one goal is get the video, get the content up and out of wherever you are that's challenging, and try to keep the production in the cloud and don't bring it down again.